Alright, so our second problem is sine of x over 2 equals the square root of 3 over 2. So we're going to start this whole problem just like we did our lesson last time. So we're going to go through the steps. We have the trig function isolated. We're going to determine what x can be for the equation to be true. Here we're actually going to figure out what can x over 2 equal for the equation to be true. So sine of what gives me the square root of 3 over 2. Hopefully a triangle is popping up in your mind, your special triangle. This time I'm going to do it in degrees, okay, just to change it up a little bit. So my special triangle I'm going to use is my 30, 60, 90. Got 1, square root of 3, and 2. And here I'm going to look for sine, so I want opposite over hypotenuse. So from which angle is opposite over hypotenuse going to be square root of 3 over 2? Well, that's going to be 60. So I know that my answer for quadrant 1 is going to be 60 degrees. So I'm going to put, instead of putting x equals, I'm going to put my whole argument, my whole angle equals. So I'm going to have x over 2 equals 60 degrees plus 360 in. But that's not the only place sine is positive, so I also need to look at quadrant 2. And I'm just going to sketch out my little coordinate grid over here. So in quadrant 2, I need a reference angle of 60. So how big is the angle that creates that reference angle? For this problem, I'm going to have to actually do 180 minus 60 to figure out how big this is. So 180 minus 60, that's 120. So I'm going to put my angle x over 2 equals 120 degrees plus 360 degrees times n. So all of that was review, and now we just need to get x by itself. So we're going to multiply by 2 on both sides of the equation. Whenever you multiply the right side, we actually have a quantity, so we need to distribute that too. So x in the first quadrant is going to equal 120 degrees plus 720 degrees times n. And for the second quadrant, we're going to do multiplying by 2, and we're going to get x equals 240 degrees plus 720 degrees n. And there you have it. That's the answer. So notice there's two different ways of formatting this. You can put your answers one on top of the other, or if you're uncertain of how long it's going to take you to show your work, you can write them side by side, quadrant 1, quadrant 2. So two ways to format. But what's important is that your answer includes the potential for all possible solutions and that you have gotten x by itself. Now you might be wondering right now, oh my gosh, those are huge numbers. How does that even work? Well, let's just pretend for a second that we want to use the solution. Here's how it works. You would choose a number for n. Let's just make it 0, make it easy. So you'd choose a number for n, make it 0. So 0 times 270 is 0. So our x equals 120. Then to check it, we'd plug it into the formula. Well, sine of 120 over 2 is sine of 60. And we all know sine of 60 is square root of 3 over 2. Voila, it makes our equation true. So you can check your answers if they kind of freak you out and they seem really big. You can always check them like that. The only thing that might throw you guys off is that you have to select an integer for n. This all goes back to those coterminal angle formulas we learned way, way back. So if you want to look at that, you can. Let's do one more example. Let's do, oh, I got a good one. This one's going to be really funny. Okay. funny, sine of 2x plus pi over 6 equals 1/2. Whew! Alright, so this is going to be in radians for one thing. And for two, our argument just got bigger. Okay, it went from just having
Jansen came to the high school office. Jansen came to the high school office.
Just having something multiplied or divided to the x to having something multiplied and added. So let's see how that works out. First of all, we need to figure out sine of what angle equals 1/2. And hopefully you're thinking, oh, well, that's this triangle right here, my special triangle. So we're looking for sine of which of these angles gives us 1/2. And hopefully you're thinking 30, because opposite over hypotenuse, 1/2. So we're going to go down here, and we've got to say, okay, what's 30 degrees in radians? It's pi over 6. So we're going to write that our whole argument in the first quadrant, it's 2x plus pi over 6 equals pi over 6 plus 2 pi n. So this is my argument. I'm just rewriting it, setting it equal to my answer, plus I'm taking care of all possible solutions. So at this point now, I've got to solve for x. But wait, we also have to think about quadrant 2, because in quadrant 2, sine is also positive. So I'm going to draw my reference angle. So right here, my reference angle is pi over 6. So in order to figure out how big this angle is, we have to do pi minus pi over 6. So let's do a little math over here. 6 pi over 6 minus pi over 6 equals 5 pi over 6. So this angle is 5 pi over 6. So I'm going to take my argument, 2x plus pi over 6, and set it equal to 5 pi over 6 plus 2 pi n. Remember, this side is just strictly for my argument set equal to the answer that I just found. And in the last lesson, this would have been our final answer, but because our argument's so big, we need to actually solve for x now. So we're going to subtract pi over 6. And so we've got 2x equals 2 pi n here, and then divide by 2, and we get x equals pi n. So that's our answer for the first quadrant. Bunch of algebra. Remember, I just talked about how you can check your answer if you want to, but I'm going to trust that that's it. Okay, and then for quadrant 2, you're going to do the same thing. Subtract pi over 6, and I'm going to get 2x equals, and here we've got common denominators already, so that's nice. So this is going to become 4 pi over 6, which reduces to 2 pi over 3. And now I'm going to divide by 2. And I'm going to divide each of these by 2. So my final answer will be x equals. With this, you could do stay switch, but I know that this is 2 pi over 3, and this is going to be times 1/2, which is going to be simplified to pi over 3. I don't have room to work out all that algebra, but if you need to, just do it over here in the margin or something. And then this is going to be plus pi n. So there's our two answers. All right, so make sure that if you have any questions, write them down now, and we'll go over them tomorrow in class.